So we've just seen AlexEala get her second clay court win of the season, taking out Pavlyuchenkova in a close straight sets, or at least a pretty decent straight sets, probably her best win so far.
AlexEala has done it again. The young Filipino sensation arrived at the Mutua Madrid Open 2026 and announced her presence in the most emphatic way possible, defeating the experienced and dangerous Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in straight sets, 6-3 in both sets. She did not just win the match, she controlled it. She dictated the terms from the moment she found her rhythm, and by the end of the afternoon, there was absolutely no doubt about who the better player was on the day. If anyone in the WTA was still treating Eala as a promising young player with occasional upside, rather than a genuine competitive force at this level, the performance on that Madrid clay changed the conversation completely. If you want to follow every match of Eala's Madrid campaign and stay connected to her full clay season story as it develops, subscribe to this channel now and hit the bell. We cover every result, every tactical detail, and every moment that matters in her journey through the European clay swing. Do not miss a single update. Now let us take you through exactly what happened on that court in Madrid, because this was more than a first-round victory. This was a statement delivered clearly and loudly to every other player in the draw. To properly appreciate what Eala achieved in this match, you have to understand who she was facing. Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova is not a player you put in the category of routine first-round opposition. She is a seasoned professional who has been competing on the WTA Tour for more than 15 years. She has been to Grand Slam finals. She has beaten the best players in the world on multiple occasions across multiple surfaces. She knows how to manage a tennis match at the highest level with the kind of courtcraft and tactical intelligence that only comes from decades of competing under pressure. When Pavlyuchenkova walks onto a clay court, she arrives with a specific, proven game plan and the experience to execute it, regardless of what the situation demands. She does not simply participate, she competes to win, and she has been doing it successfully against some of the best players of her generation for a very long time. From the very first game of the match, Pavlyuchenkova was clearly following a plan designed to neutralize Eala's biggest strengths. She was controlling the rhythm of the rallies, keeping the ball short in Eala's half of the court, and using the kind of tactical positioning that her experience gives her the ability to manage instinctively. The plan was visible and logical. Keep Eala on her toes, deny her any comfortable hitting position from the baseline, refuse to give her the pace and the depth she uses to build her offensive game. Slowly chip away at the younger player's confidence one game at a time, letting the accumulated pressure of the match do the work that raw power alone cannot accomplish. She won the first game beautifully, executing the plan with precision, and for a brief moment it genuinely looked like Pavlyuchenkova had found the formula that could disrupt Eala's rhythm and make the afternoon difficult. But here is what you learn very quickly when you watch Eala compete at this level. She does not panic under pressure. She does not wilt or rush when the situation goes against her. Instead, she assesses what is happening, makes the necessary adjustments, and then executes. It is a process that looks almost calm from the outside, which makes it all the more dangerous for opponents who are counting on early pressure to create psychological cracks that they can then exploit as the match develops. The turning point came when Eala started doing what she does at her best. She began stretching the court, pushing Pavlyuchenkova from one side to the other with precise ball placement, and then drilling her shots into the far corners where the older player simply could not get there in time. Eala was throwing the ball wide to open up space and then redirecting to the opposite end of the court with pace and accuracy that made the physical demand of staying in the rallies increasingly difficult for an opponent who does not possess the same explosive movement she did earlier in her career. It was clinical and it was calculated. Most importantly, it was brilliantly executed point after point. Game after game, Eala began pulling away. Pavlyuchenkova tried to dig in and make things complicated, as she always does, because she has the experience and the competitive instinct to never simply concede a match. But the momentum had shifted completely, and once Eala had found her range, the direction of the set was no longer seriously in question. By the time the first set was over, Eala had run away with it 6-3, and Pavlyuchenkova's early plan of keeping things short and controlled had fallen completely apart against a player who had found a way through it and was now playing with the kind of freedom that comes from feeling completely in control of a match. What truly made the difference in this performance And what Eala herself confirmed when she spoke after the match was her serve. She had spent the preparation time leading into Madrid working specifically on that department of her game, and the investment paid off in the most visible and meaningful way possible. When Eala's serve is working at its best, it does two things simultaneously, and both of them matter enormously. It wins her free points directly, reducing the number of long rallies she has to compete through. And it puts her opponent immediately on the back foot at the beginning of every service game, which changes the entire psychological dynamic of the exchanges that follow. Pavlyuchenkova could not find a way to neutralize it. She could not read the placement consistently or take the pace off the delivery in a way that allowed her to establish an attacking return position. Once Eala had found her serving rhythm early in the match and built confidence through it, the tactical control of the match settled firmly in her hands. The second set followed a similar overall pattern, but this time Eala came out even more aggressive from the opening game. The body language and the tactical approach both communicated the same message clearly. She was not here to allow a third set. She was not here to give Pavlyuchenkova a chance to recover her rhythm and find a way back into the contest. She was here to close the match out efficiently and move on. She stormed to a 2-game lead immediately, and the intent was unmistakable. Pavlyuchenkova, to her absolute credit, refused to go quietly. This is a player whose entire career has been built on finding ways to stay competitive when the match is running against her, and she demonstrated that quality again here. She dug deep, competed for every point, and at 3-4, she had pulled herself to within 1 game of Eala in the second set. The tension in the arena rose noticeably. You could feel the question forming in the air, the one that every match between experience and youth eventually asks. Could the veteran find something in that moment? Could she channel all those years of competing in exactly these kinds of situations and produce something that shifted the momentum back? Eala answered the question immediately, and without hesitation. She did not let the pressure of the moment change her level. She did not retreat into safety or become tentative when the margin narrowed. She stayed focused, executed her game plan, and closed out the second set 6-3, exactly as she had won the first, winning the match in straight sets, and doing so in a manner that left no doubt about who had been the better player throughout the afternoon. The wider context of this victory makes it even more significant than the scoreline alone suggests. This is now the 4th consecutive year in which Eala has won her first-round match at the Madrid Open. This tournament holds a specific place in her career story. She has spoken about her love for Madrid, for the conditions, for the clay surface here, for the city, and what competing on this stage means to her. The results across 4 consecutive editions confirm that Madrid brings out a particularly strong version of her game, and the consistency of performing well here year after year, at progressively higher ranking levels, and against progressively more challenging opposition, is the kind of record that speaks to something beyond form or circumstance. It speaks to a genuine affinity with this specific environment that she has now demonstrated repeatedly. But the tournament does not pause to allow celebration. The next challenge is already confirmed, and it represents a significant step up in difficulty. Standing in Eala's way in the second round is Elise Mertens. If you are following Eala's Madrid campaign closely, this is the fixture you need to prepare yourself for, because Mertens represents a fundamentally different kind of challenge from what Pavlyuchenkova presented, and in several important respects, she is a more dangerous opponent for Eala's specific style of play. In terms of overall approach and game philosophy, Mertens and Pavlyuchenkova occupy similar territory. Both are tactically intelligent players who understand how to construct rallies, how to control tempo, and how to use experience and court sense to create difficulties for younger opponents who might rely more heavily on raw athleticism and power. Neither player is going to give you easy pace to work with. Both of them will force you to generate your own power and make you earn every single point through your own quality, rather than by using theirs against them. Playing against this type of opponent demands a specific kind of patience and discipline that is different from what is required against a heavy-hitting, pace-generating opponent. But here is the critical distinction between them. Elise Mertens is more clinical than Pavlyuchenkova, significantly more clinical. When Mertens gets into her preferred patterns, when she manages to establish control of a rally and position the ball where she wants it, she finishes points. She does not give you the extra ball that allows you to reset and recover your position. She does not wait for an error to arrive. She makes a decision, and she executes it with cold, calculated precision. She is decisive in the way that the very best tactical players on the tour are decisive, never looking for the perfect opportunity but creating good opportunities consistently and converting them efficiently. That quality of point construction and point finishing is what separates her from Pavlyuchenkova in this comparison and is what makes her such a difficult opponent for anyone on the tour who has not yet fully developed the ability to navigate prolonged tactical exchanges without creating the kind of loose ball that Mertens will punish without mercy. The tactical questions that the Mertens match raises for Eala are specific and important. The serve needs to perform at least as well as it did today, preferably better. The serving was the backbone of everything that worked against Pavlyuchenkova, the platform from which Eala built her offensive game and established the control she needed to dictate the rallies. Against Mertens, who is more precise in her returns and more dangerous when given any opportunity to dictate from the baseline, free points from the serve and pressure from a strong first delivery will be even more critical. Every service game won easily is a service game that Mertens cannot use to find her rhythm, and disrupting Mertens' rhythm on serve is one of the clearest routes to controlling the match. The forehand is the other area that Eala and her team will need to address specifically in preparation for the next match. Mertens is an expert at identifying and then repeatedly targeting the patterns that cause an opponent the most trouble. If there is any inconsistency or hesitation in Eala's forehand, Mertens will find it in the first few games and then come back to it again and again throughout the match until it becomes a reliable source of errors. A reliable, aggressive forehand is not just a weapon in this matchup, it is a necessity. Without it, Mertens' ability to control rallies from the baseline will give her the kind of consistent advantage that is very difficult to overcome across a full three-set match on clay. The one thing that today's performance confirmed unambiguously is the level of confidence Eala is currently carrying. She arrived in Madrid with a specific preparation plan for this tournament. She executed that plan under real pressure against a seasoned and experienced opponent who had a clear tactical strategy to slow her down. She came through the other side of that test with a convincing, composed, straight sets victory. That kind of performance does specific things to a player's mindset that go beyond the simple accumulation of a win and a round of prize money. It reinforces belief. It confirms that the work done in training is translating into results when the moment matters. It provides physical evidence that the approach is correct and that the level is genuinely there. A confident Eala, as this season has demonstrated at tournament after tournament, is a player who is genuinely dangerous against anyone in the draw, regardless of the ranking differential. She will go into the Mertens match with the momentum of today's performance, with a serve that she knows is working, with the particular boost that comes from winning well in the first round of a tournament you love playing. She will not be overwhelmed by Mertens' experience or reputation. She will look across the net and back herself to compete and to win, because that is consistently what she does when the occasion is big and the opponent is good. Whether she manages to get past Mertens and continue what could develop into another deep Madrid run remains to be seen. Professional tennis does not allow certainties, and Mertens is precisely the kind of opponent who can make the difference between a good day and a great one feel very small and very consequential. But what today proved, in the clearest possible terms, is that Eala belongs at this level. She belongs in these matches against these opponents on these stages. She is not someone who arrived in Madrid hoping to get through a round or prove a point. She is someone who has won her opening match here 4 years running, who treats this tournament as a place where she performs rather than survives, and who continues to build a career that the WTA and every player in the draw is paying close attention to. The draw is waiting, Mertens is waiting, and the Madrid clay has a long way yet to run in this particular story. Drop your prediction in the comments for the Mertens match and tell us how far you think Eala can go in Madrid this year. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for every update on her campaign as the clay season continues. We will be here for every match, every result, and every moment that matters.